So hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to get back to work on the C3 Corvette. Last week you saw me get the fuel filler door ready to install. So today I'm going to go ahead and try to finish that installation. I had to go a different direction than I originally discussed last week, and I'll show you those details here in a few minutes. But the main goal today is to get the fuel tank installed. I've got all the associated components, and I'll pull those out here in a minute and I'll show you exactly what I have. I am not going to get the fuel lines routed today, but that's going to have to be a separate video. But today I want to get this tank installed. That is the #1 goal. All right, I wanted to give an update on my fuel filler door. So as you can see, it's installed. I'm going to take it back off here in a minute just to kind of do some glass work around this doubler that I put in. So last week I left off with the plan that I was going to install this and put the fuel tank in with one of the push-through filler caps. Unfortunately, what I found out is that they don't make one of those filler caps for the C3 Corvette size filler neck. So this thing is about 3 inches wide, and the push-through filler caps are all for standard size. And I looked at several different options this week as far as like welding an adapter on and you know, adapting it down to the smaller filler neck and different things. But what I decided to do is just go ahead and use the existing size cap and filler. But what I had to do is that this base plate stuck out about, I don't think it was quite an inch, but the hole basically was only about 2 3/4 inches basically. And because this is 3 inches, it wouldn't fit. So I ended up having to cut that base plate down, and that sucker was hard. It was a little bit less than a 1/4 inch thick steel, and so it was quite a job to cut that down. But you can see that I got it, and now the gas cap fits through here. It's going to be hard for me to do this with one hand, but basically I can install the gas cap. It's a tight fit, but at the end of the day, the whole purpose is to be able to fuel the car, and so I'm going to be able to do that. But what I want to do is get this back off. I want to get some of this glass work taken care of, and then probably throw a little bit of primer on it if I have any here tonight. And then that way tomorrow I can get in here and put the gas tank in, put the filler door back on, and get this thing wrapped up. So these fasteners don't attach this to the car. There's actually a base plate under here, and it has staggered fasteners in between here. So the base plate is attached to the fiberglass structure, and then this just attaches to the base plate. That way it's serviceable. If I ever need to take this off for any reason, I can just pull these 6 screws and pull it off, and the hole in the fiberglass is actually a little bit bigger. And then I'll give you a shot from underneath. And so there she is. There's my doubler that I installed, and then it's attached with the 6 fasteners going through the fiberglass up into the base plate. So anyways, that's it. it is installed, it's complete. I'm going to move on to installing this gas tank. So here is the new gas tank. It's from Tanks Inc. It's a TM33. The box says a -T, but I thought it was a -D-T, if I remember correctly. But basically, it's got this baffle tank for fuel injection. There's one of the baffles. There's another one over there, just to keep the fuel pump submerged in fuel at all times. I know I've read a lot of forums. People that did the LS swap on the C3s had a fuel starvation issue when the fuel would slosh. So anyways, that prevents it. And then there's another baffle basically here. So it's basically a wall, and just keeps the fuel pump submerged at all times. So anyways, I'm going to get this thing built up and get everything put on it, and then we're going to try to get this thing installed in the car. It's crazy, but there's something so satisfying about opening up boxes. I guess maybe it takes me back to Christmas as a kid. Alright, we got the fuel sender with the new fuel pump. And the socks there in the box. Okay, this is just a fuel hose and the Corvette style filter regulator. Like I said, I won't be doing that today. Alrighty, looks like I've got all the pieces I need, so we'll get this thing set up and we'll get it installed. This is interesting. First things first, it looks like the sender is not going to fit in the fuel tank because of the baffles. Okay guys, I'm going to end up using my old filler neck. It's like I said, I didn't plan on using this. I was planning on using the push-through type of gasket, or gas cap I should say, and unfortunately it didn't work like I said, so I ended up going with this. It's a little bit ugly, but at the end of the day, like I said, the whole intent is to be able to get fuel in this thing, and man, I've got to get this thing going. So it's been a long day already, and still a long way to go. It's getting crazy trying to film, and my neighbors are playing Tejano music. You got airplanes flying around me, so doing what I can. I am having trouble just all the way around today, so now the holes don't want to line up. So let's see what we got going on here. Some days are just like this, so kind of is what it is. But I'll get it on. I'm going to take my time, make sure I don't strip any of these bolts. Alright, so I ended up having to open the holes up on this filler neck to 7/32. They were 3/16. I was a little concerned about doing it because these bolts, they have an O-ring, and I didn't know how big you could go and not lose your seal on your O-ring. But I looked at the fuel pump, and the fuel pump holes the fuel pump uses the same bolts, and the holes were 7/32. So I guess that's what it was. Is I thought that it was just the inserts in the tank, but it was actually that the holes were a little bit off, not much, but just enough to make it where they didn't want to screw down, and I did not want to strip out one of those inserts. So I opened up the hose and they went in super easy. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten it down. I made sure also to really deburr the hose good so that there wouldn't be any metal shavings on it that would cut those little O-rings. All right, so from here on, I'm going to have to move forward with my fuel pump installation. So I'm going to get set up to do that, and then we'll go from there. The instructions tell you basically take the depth of your tank minus the height of the bottom of your sock to where the line connects here. And so I've got about 4.5 inches on that. So I'm going to cut this at 4.5 inches. All right, so go ahead and cut this thing. And I should have 2 equal length pieces, which I do. So that's going to go there. And then you take your return, which I pulled it out just to get it out of my way. The length of the return should be the depth of your tank minus 1 inch. All right, basically it shows it cut at a 45-degree angle. I don't know if you have to do that, but I'm going to go ahead and do it. All right, for the most part, I've got this thing assembled. This is a 9mm, and basically you're going to tighten these nuts down to clamp up against your wire harness, and it's supposed to seal them off so there's no leak. So it just says there, just be careful not to over tighten. So I was very, very careful when I did it. And the last 2 things I have are the zip ties. They basically just zip tie your return line to the outer sleeve here. Basically, you're building this thing up to make sure that your overall measurement from your bottom of your sock to your bottom flange here is basically just about the same as the depth of your tank. Slightly less maybe, but my tank is 9 inches deep. I'm a little bit under 9 inches. Really probably should bring it down just a little bit, but kind of is what it is. I try not to let my vehicles get below 1/4 tank of gas ever. So, and I didn't compensate for the thickness of this guy, and it's pretty thick. But I'm gonna go ahead and stick this thing in. I'm gonna have to call Summit. I tried to call them earlier, and I tried to call the tech line. I guess they're closed during the weekend. So I'm gonna call the parts department because I've got to figure out what's going on with the sending unit, because that one is just plainly not gonna work. So this just is what it is. Gotta get this thing down past these zip ties. So I'm going to go ahead and get these bolts in, and then unfortunately I think that's going to be it for the night because of my cinder unit, my cinder issue. Alright guys, that's going to have to be it for the video tonight. To be honest with you, I'm pretty frustrated with just everything that happened today. I mean, it seemed like everything that could possibly go wrong did go wrong. It started off with the fact that the Le Mans style filler cap that I bought, basically I couldn't find anything to reduce down the filler net to the push-through type gas cap. So that was kind of frustrating, and man, cutting that base plate took forever. But as of right now, the car has a functional gas filler door, which it hasn't had since I've owned it. So that's a good thing. And yes, we kind of took a step back with the gas tank, but we moved forward also. So we basically recognized the things that we have to get. So I went ahead and ordered the correct sending unit. It should be here within the next 1 to 3 business days, they said. I'll have to process a return on the other one, but honestly, that's the first time in years that someone has ever messed up one of my orders. And so it is what it is. These things happen. So anyways, I'll get the gas tank in probably next weekend. But for right now, I'm going to go ahead and shut it down. I want to say thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed the content, even though honestly I'm a little frustrated with it. But if you did so, please consider subscribing to the channel, and we hope to see you again next time. Thanks, and have a great night.